In this video, you'll learn about the common string techniques, including how they sound and how they're played. Super excitingly, I also have live demonstrations of every technique performed by an amazing young violinist, Ziana Harron. We're going to look at the various techniques that are available on string instruments. Pretty much all of these techniques are playable on all 4 instruments, but will have different tonal qualities to them depending on which instrument is playing them. I've also enlisted the help of an amazing violinist, Ziana Harron, who's going to demonstrate each technique and articulation for you. If you want to know more about Ziana, I've added a link to her Facebook page as a resource. Even if you deal exclusively with sample libraries and have no intention of ever writing for real instruments, this section is still massively important. It's going to help you understand all of the various articulations that come with sample libraries. And the more you understand them, the better you'll be able to write for them, and the more realistic and interesting you'll be able to make your pieces sound. It's going to open up a whole new world of timbres and sounds for you to get your teeth stuck into. Articulation is all about how a note is played and how notes begin and end. We'll start by looking at articulations that are common across all instruments, not just strings, before moving into the more string-specific ones. Tenuto is often described as playing a note to its full value. In practice, the actual result of marking something as tenuto tends to give the note a very subtle accent, like a slightly forced sound. Staccato is translated as detached, which is a much better way to think of it than short. It means that each note should be detached from the next. Staccatissimo basically means extremely detached. Again, in practice, it's often interpreted to mean to play the note as short as possible. The hairpin accent, or marcato, means to play the note with force. So the note is emphasized, beginning more forcefully. Marcatissimo or martellato is kind of like a combination of a marcato accent and a staccatissimo. In strings, martellato is actually a bowing technique that's used to play marcatissimo notes. Okay, now let's look at some more advanced or string-specific articulations. Starting with détaché. As the name implies, détaché means to play the notes detached. Our next technique, legato, is the opposite. Legato means that notes are fluidly joined together. That sometimes means a group of notes played in a single bow stroke, but legato can also be played by bowing back and forth in a smooth motion. Next up is portato. When you see this notated, you'll realize it's a combination of legato and staccato, which sounds completely conflicting. So let me try and explain it in a simpler way. It's legato, but with each note slightly emphasized. If you watch a string player playing portato, you'll see that the bow almost pauses for a moment as each note is played. Not in a jolty way, as that would create a detached sound, but in a smooth, bouncy kind of way. The next 2 articulations we're looking at have a lot of crossover: portamento and glissando. Unlike a guitar, the string instruments don't have marked frets. When you place your finger on the fretboard of a guitar, the string's actually being stopped by the piece of metal that runs perpendicular to the fretboard, the fret. Violins, cellos, violas, double basses don't have these frets, they're fretless. So when you slide your finger up or down the fretboard of one of these instruments, you get a continuous change of pitch, not perfect semitones. Using these slides in between notes is portamento or glissando. So portamento is when you slide to or from one single note, whereas glissando is where you slide from one note to another note. And finally, vibrato. A string player will naturally perform with vibrato unless you instruct them not to. And most good sample libraries include non-vibrato patches too. It gives a drier, slightly colder sound than a warm, full vibrato. Thanks for watching. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit the big red subscribe button for more music composition, production, and industry tips. If you want to learn more about the string section, sign up to my free email video course by following the link in the description. And finally, let me know what else you'd like to learn about by leaving me a comment.